Hey folks, it's Brian. We got a chance to play in my Carreen Runequest Roleplaying Glorantha campaign last night. Yay! We were short a player. He's doing some training this month for a deployment, so he's going to be gone for like a year, it turns out. At least that's what some of the other guys were saying. I didn't get in touch with him. There was somebody who had who had reached out looking for a game, and if Otto's player is going to be gone for a year, I'll open that up to him. I have no problem with that. And then we'll see how things work out. But anyway, we did a real quick recap because one of our players missed last time, and it's every 2 weeks anyway, so you need to kind of do a quick review. And the characters are in this section of the Cavern crawl because I forgot what it was again. The truth spirit, Manticore, the female Manticore truth spirit, was telling them how to get to the chaos creatures in the air temple. And there was a shortcut this way. Show them if you go by through the dragon noose, that's how to get there. But there's a shortcut if you go through the secret door that's out here. I don't recall, so I need to double check. And and if she did, I'll remind the players that she should have said that there are a number of secret doors that you'll need to go through, not just the one in the hallway. So, anyway, they're in this temple throne room kind of thing with the pillars and the statuary and the bars. I'm not sure what the bars are there for. I should have just taken them out. But anyway, the bars and the throne, and so they're behind the throne. Larger try to check the throne out. There's some kind of magical thing dealing with it. But there's the double doors. So that's where we start with the double doors. The double doors open into the room. Well, the map for the scenario shows out, and that's not going to work for this trap that this is set for. So the doors open into the room. Subutai makes a critical success on his scan roll. In fact, his very first 0-1 in the game, and we've been playing for over a year. Although, twice a month is all that frequent. But the floor is covered with water. Now, I say covered with water, I'm not talking, deep. We're talking about, just there's a skim of water here. Could it be enough to make it slippery? Yeah. The floor here has to be watertight because this is a water trap. But it's got to be made. It doesn't have to be, but it should be made of this marble-like material. So I told him it was like a flagstone kind of thing. So there's some texture to it. The rest dress, she steps out 1 foot, figures around. But yeah, you're not going to slip. It's fine. Your feet are getting wet. Now it's not oily. It's not slimy. It's just wet. As they move in the room, and in the room, 3 or 4 meters in, on the ceiling on the south side is a hole about 1 meter wide, going up as far as they can see with their light. It keeps going. So they start postulating: is this go up to that round room where they dumped over the basin of water and it went through the floor? And it is. In fact, it is. And then they said something about having dropped on a rock. And at the time I didn't remember, but now that I think about it, I do remember them dropping the rock down, down here, kind of thing. But I don't remember if they put all the tiles back or not. I kind of assumed they did. But anyway, so they're looking around for this rock, and there's a rock down there. This is in fact the tunnel. I don't want to give it away, but it's they can piece that together. Okay, so they're all in the room, and Lars looking at the door. How doors normally close like this. These doors close like this. They fit together like a puzzle piece kind of thing. And he notices that. And so he takes a torch and he closes the inside latch. And he puts his torch down and closes the outside latch onto it. So it'll stay open, right? And they get ready for the other doors. So this other door has handles. The other ones didn't, just had a little push down because they push in, right? And but this has a latch, handles and a latch. Actually, probably two latches. Now I think about it, but there's only one mechanism. So a restaurant gets all ready and latches the door, and their idea is to open up and somebody cover and that kind of thing, right? They got their little open door routine all set up, and they reiterate that real quick. Well, as soon as she clicks the latch, the doors burst open as millions of gallons of water come rushing in. Now the scenario's set up so that it says, give them 3 rounds to try and get the doors closed. Take somebody with an 18 double out strength kind of deal to do that, and I converted that over to a strength versus size deal for Runequest. And but as soon as those doors burst open, all the lights would have gone out. People slip and fall, lanterns underwater, torch gets dropped. That kind of stuff happens, right? And we got all this water rushing in. It should technically knock everybody down. I didn't worry about that too much. But the water's rising up to the knees. Engrilar summons his naiad the first round. And then I start digging through, okay, what can she really do? And she can cast water breathing. So she casts that on Engrilar. They run 2. 3 melee rounds to get the door shut, otherwise at that point they can't. 5 melee rounds, the entire room is full of water and it's going up the chimney, we call it, the tube. So start making swim rolls because I'm looking at the drowning rules. This is going to come in handy now. And your swim skills reduced by your encumbrance, and so he's thinking through, okay, who's heaviest and who do I need to take care of? So next is Arestra, go give her that spell, and then Lars, and then Subutai, and then Otto. And so the Naiad, who, while she can't see, it's pitch black dark, she knows what's in the water. She can sense presences, that kind of thing. So she starts doing water breathing on people. And I should have thought, but didn't think about it at the time. But this morning I woke up going, she's casting that by kissing him on the lips. That's gonna be so cool. I got to talk about that in our next session. So anyway, she does water breathing and then brings them over to Engrilar so people can start matching. They're holding on to each other, so they're all together, kind of deal. Because obviously the water's spinning around. You have no idea where it's pitch black. Snide grabs you, kisses you. You can now breathe. Thank goodness. So people are making swimming rolls first to see if they can stay up above the water. They missed the swimming roll. They have to make the con times 5 roll, and for mainly rounds 2 to 5 are con times 5, and it decreases after that. And everybody either made their swimming rolls. Well, most of them missed their saving. There was a couple that made it on occasion, but they pretty much all made their con times 5 rolls before they got to get water breathing, except for Otto, who was the last guy, by the way. And he ended up drowning. He took 14 points of damage to his chest, and his chest has 5, so he's at negative 7. So he's below the times 2 damage, right? Which in the combat chart says you start losing 1 hit point per round, like you're bleeding out. But he's drowning. So I was kind of fumbling with, should I continue to do that or not? But she does do water breathing on him. So he can breathe now. So he's no longer drowning, but does he still take 1 point of damage around kind of thing to the heal kind of deal? What's happening? But water breathing brings him over. They have her heal him, so he's able to heal up. She's not her. She only had to heal 2, I think. I couldn't remember what her heal was. I should have that written down somewhere. So I just rolled randomly, and it turned out to be heal 2, which is the minimum I would have given her anyway. And so that's going to be 7 melee rounds worth of healing before he's fully conscious, kind of thing, right? Where he can actually act. Not just 5, 6, 7. So 3, 4 melee rounds before he can actually start acting. And if he's taking a point of damage every melee round, then he's only getting 1 back around. And so it could have gotten really complicated with her spending a lot of magic points trying to get him conscious, or yeah, get him conscious, even though he can breathe the water now. It's kind of weird. But I just didn't worry about the 1 point around kind of deal. He's not bleeding out. He's just coughing. That kind of deal, right? So they're all breathing water and they're actually going up the tube somewhat. Well, with their encumbrance, they're probably not going up. They're just down there. And so they're trying to figure out what to do. And now they got water breathing. They're not worried too much now. Room is full of water. There's a slight current coming through because there's water. Now the door did crush that torch, right? So, but they're still, I figured maybe 2 inches by the 8 feet wide. So I did a real quick surface area, how much is going out versus how much is coming in kind of deal, for how long it'll take things to get where they go. Yeah, I was a physics major. So anyway, the room is not going to empty out by itself because it has essentially an inexhaustible water coming in and just, so much water going out. But once things kind of settle down, they go to close the door and latch, so there's no more water coming in. And once they got to essentially equalize pressure, that's not an issue, right? They send the naiad up the chimney to see what she can find out, how far she can go. They did that afterwards. After they actually emptied out the room, she incorporated and went up. She could get to a certain point, and she said after that point, it would take her at least 3 magic points to get. It would cost her 3 magic points to keep going up, kind of deal. That's how much further it was up, 75 feet. But they don't know that. But anyway, so once that door is closed, for the water to get down to where they can breathe again. And so there's this question of, okay, how long does that take? And how long does the room magic last? Now, I was thinking the room magic was 25 melee rounds, but that's spirit magic, which is 5 minutes. Room magic lasts 15 minutes. And I figured out it would take 60 melee rounds, which isn't really that long, for the water to get, down where they didn't have to worry about the water breathing anymore. So it all worked out. I was kind of worried for a minute there, going, okay, how long is this going to take, and that kind of stuff. So I actually looked, double check. Okay, 15 minutes, plenty of time. So all that water gets flushed out. Once it's down far enough, they can open the door. The rest of it flows through. So the throne room is covered in water. Question of volume, how much? It's probably fairly deep. It's probably like a foot deep here. Foot deep, maybe 6 inches deep. Because this throne room is huge compared to the trap room, but the trap room, did go up the tunnel ways as well. So, but still, and the room is like 10 feet tall, right? 10 feet by 2 meters by 5 meters. There's water in the room here, and of course that's going to be spilling out onto the well, would close the doors. Oh, potentially. Nah, probably wouldn't have. It was just kind of spraying out and then kind of just flushed. So it's coming out through the doors and it's pouring down off the platform into the initial 8x8 chamber that had the stairs going up to the screw door. So there was some discussion about that. I didn't really think about it because as soon as it hits down, it's going to go where they are too. So yeah, I may have to figure out exactly how much water is out there, but I'm not that worried about it. Okay, so they decide, where are we trying to start remembering? Why are we here? Where are we going? How do we get out of here? If this is the shortcut, it's the longest shortcut they've ever been, but this is not the way they were told to go, right? So they go out, climb down the rope, go down the stairs into the lower chamber. And the lower chamber is actually much smaller. And there is a door on the north. Right near where the stairs are, but the room itself goes west a number of meters. It's like 4 by 12, maybe something like that. And you got this long, narrow room, and the only thing in here is a door right here. They don't really think about it too much, but now I'm thinking about it, they should be focusing their searching on stuff elsewhere. But anyway, so this door has 2 wooden beam door bars, whatever you want to call those things, with the dealies on this side. So, and there's a wax seal between them that has not been broken. And they asked about, as they got as we went back in, as we started the session, and we're in the throne room chamber, I start describing some of the stuff here. That there's iconography all around this room that nobody recognizes. We made some. I had to make custom rolls. I had to make cult lore rolls, that kind of stuff. Now the runes are everywhere. So elemental runes are there. The power and form runes are there. That's kind of obvious kind of stuff. There are other runes they don't recognize, and then there's this general iconography that just has nothing to do with the Orlanthi Pantheon. The Orlanthi Pantheon, nothing to do with it. So Lars gets out his writing materials and stuff and makes some rubbings on some of the symbols and things that he doesn't recognize. He does ask, well, he doesn't ask. I infer that these symbols that they don't recognize, the runes that they don't recognize, do not match the runes that were on the skull that they found by the hut out by the river. So it's even more different. And so he makes a rubbing of the little seal too, and he asked me what it looked like. So I just kind of pull some of this stuff based on some of the research I had done previously for an encounter. Because these 2 rooms, for some reason, I did not have in my write-up, my little monster sheet, or in my Word document descriptions. I don't know, maybe I was thinking at one point of just eliminating this piece because there's a lot of stuff in here that okay, no. It doesn't go like that with that room. Just make a straight hallway, that kind of stuff. And okay, yeah, you've got people living here. Where are they sleeping? Okay, so we've got to make a barracks room, that kind of stuff. And I may have thought at one point to just cut this out. I know there is a piece of this that I did cut out. There's a room and a stair going somewhere that I just no. And so as I'm going through the write-up in here, most of it, zombies, that kind of stuff. There's a wight in here. That's an easy conversion. But then there's this one special place encounter kind of deal where it delves back into the time of when this place was used. And doing that conversion, we're talking about God time. Before time laid down, people were here doing something. And so I'm trying to take what the scenario gave me, convert it to Runequest, and then make it make sense. So I did I added a whole bunch, not a whole bunch. I elaborated on a number of things. And then I started working out, okay, how's this going to work? And what would happen if this were the case? And there was going to be this really cool event that would happen if they get to this place. So past couple of weeks, I've been doing all this research, studying, working, whatever, development for these few rooms right here on stuff. So they get down the room. They start searching around. Arestra fumbles her first roll, so I don't let her roll anymore. And then there are a number of secret rooms in this room. So how many times you let people roll as their search sheet? You let everybody roll for every single secret door kind of thing. So if there are 5 secret doors, everybody rolls 5 times. Yeah, that's kind of how I was thinking. And when nobody found a secret door, and Arestra fumbled. So I didn't let Arestra roll anymore. She's too busy fumbling. And I let everybody else roll for another door, and then everybody roll for another door, and everybody roll for another door. And I'm going to roll for another door. And that time, 2 of the players made it. So, okay, it's this door. Actually, I rolled random base, which one it was. And at the far end, in the middle, is a secret door, right? There's like a palm-shaped engravings. What's the stone patterning kind of stuff, right? But there's some of this could be a palm shape, and it pushes in. That causes the doors to open, that kind of thing. So these doors open up, stairs going down, and everybody starts going downstairs. And we're talking, 60, 75 feet. So it's not a long set of stairs. And they get to the bottom, and there's a glow coming from the bottom, a purplish glow, violet glow coming from the bottom. So as they go down, this room is glowing by the walls. The walls. It's a hemisphere. Yeah, hemispherical room is glowing with this violet light. And the far side is this 8-foot tall black statue of a guy in in a regal pose kind of thing. He's got a crown on his head with 3 tangs. Would they be tangs on a crown? There's a special word for those things on a crown. And on the top of each one of those tangs is a large red gemstone. Also in this room, there are these 2 curved pools that take up, almost a quarter each kind of thing. It's not like you're looking at a baseball, right? You got those curves, and there's 2 pools. So they go down. Resta's making her way straight towards the statue. Lars is following right behind her. And Galar wants to check out the pool and suggests Otto check out the pool. And then Subutai got his bow out, and he's like watching the stairwell, make sure he comes down behind him. Well, as they come into the room, Restra starts feeling ill. Like maybe it's the light giving her a headache kind of thing or something. She's just feeling kind of woozy. And same thing happens to Otto, and same thing happens with Subutai. So we go, Restra and Lars go to check out the statue. It doesn't move. There aren't any secret compartments. I think Lars actually made a bit of special on his search roll, but I tell him that the statue is smooth as glass. So if he asks if it's not basalt, what's the word? Volcanic glass stuff, obsidian. There we go. It's obsidian. And so I have him make a mineral lore roll, and he misses. He goes, "Of course it is. It has to be. What else could it be?" That kind of thing. And Angrilar saw something out of the corner of his eye, like something in the water moving around, but the surface of the water is completely still. But he jumps into one of the pools just to see how deep it is and that kind of stuff. So he swims around, and it goes deeper than he can swim down. So he surfaces up and tries the other pool. And I think it was about this point that I realized that all the water down here is underground river water, which is freezing cold, which I had given him points of damage for when he was in the river itself. But we missed all of that for the water trap and for these pools. I don't know why. Anyway, but there's actually a trap here. So it drops down 20 feet to the water, but the pools of water, they're not 20 feet down where the water level is for these pools. The pools of water up here, but this trap 20 feet down, drop 20 feet to the water. That just doesn't make sense. So I'm not sure I'm going to handle that if it goes off. It didn't. After this, they said, okay, let's go up. And as they start to go back, they start feeling a little better. Up the stairs, back to the room, and they start talking about, okay, what did the Manticore spirit say? What did she tell us? We don't want to go through that sealed room with the seal, the wax seal on it. So what do we do? So I then make some more search rolls, this time at -20. Just because you keep searching, doesn't mean you're going to eventually find it, right? Eventually, it gets harder and harder to the point where you just have no idea where to look. But we did that, and they found another secret door. This one was on the south wall towards the west end. There's some like plaster or something. Oh, the fresco's down here. Again, stuff that does not look right. It doesn't look like anything they've ever seen before. But there's some obvious death scenes here, right? You know, traveling to the underworld. There's the River of Swords. There's the building, the temple, Grandpa Mortal's in for judgment, you know, that kind of stuff. Things like that are here. So this is obviously has something to do with death ceremonies. But you know, some of the plasters, you know, hundreds of years old, right? So I think Laura made this roll. Hey, there's some plaster up here. It looks like there might be something behind it. Pulls that down, and sure enough, there's a door there. I just kind of there's like a sliding latch thing that you put your fingers into. It's just been plastered up, so you just have to pull the plaster out, slide it out. Doors always go into little rooms, right? So if you go into this room, oh, I think no, it has to go in. That's how you block it. So anyway, the door goes in, and the far side of this room, it's like a 3 meter by 3 meter room, not very big, is a stone platform. And on top of that platform is a body. And he goes, is it desiccated? Yeah, it is desiccated. It is old. It is dead. You know, that kind of thing. And then Arestra steps in. As she steps in, it sits up, turns, faces towards her, and says something. And again, dealing with some of the time issues with the scenario and with where they are and with languages, being able to understand the words that are coming out of this zombie's mouth. This zombie's mouth, right? Are they going to understand anything, right? So there's a chart in the RuneQuest Roleplaying Glorantha. Oh yeah, 27 minutes already. Sorry guys, this is a long one. There is a language chart where if you know Hortland, you will know is rolling in at half of your Horton percentage, and you will know, you know, Storm Speech or something at 1/5 and then Storm Speech to 1/10 or something like that, right? There's a half, a fifth, and 10th. That's kind of how it's designed out, and they've got a language tree there. So I'm looking at, hey, these guys should be speaking this language here, and we're coming down this way, and language tree, and I made a little chart myself. Okay, if the people down here speaking this language is really, really old, or if they're speaking this language is ancient, what percentage of what language skills you have would you be able to learn, kind of thing. And so Arestra with her Earth speech and Lars with his Hortling caught. So that sounded familiar. That sounded kind of like this word kind of deal. But then the zombie stands up. He's walking forward. What are you guys going to do? And there's a little conversation. Arestra, she's a death cultist. This thing is dead. It needs to be dead. So her intent is to go and kill it. And Lars goes, wait, it's talking to us. It's doing something. We need to understand what it's saying. So he casts Logician on himself at an intensity of 3, which costs him 6 magic points, plus his dex of 1 or 2, so on 7 or 8 or something like that is when his spell will go off. Because that'll give him a plus 30 on his knowledge skills. See if it won't say something, because he starts talking to it. What would you say? Say it again, that kind of stuff. And the zombie comes out of the room. And I think Arestra's going to stop him. She goes to strike him with her axe. She misses. He actually made his dodge too. And so he swings back with his fist. She parries it. No issues there. And then she swings with her axe and takes him in the leg, below his leg. So he flops to the ground. And he says his spiel again and then starts crawling. During the session, you'll see I said to the east, but then I corrected myself. No, he went to the west. Starts crawling to the west. Okay, so Lars, well, everybody at that point can make their skill roll again, but Lars is the one we're looking at because he's got that plus 30. So he's thinking his Hortling at 50 plus the 30 is 80. So that's what he's thinking. But his Hortling at 50 gives him a 5 for this language, but he gets his plus 30. for 35. I didn't tell him that outright, but after he rolled, what is it he actually rolled? So he did make a successful roll. And so I reiterated for the first time actually for them what he said, something about waking his fellows, and I don't remember now. There's like 3 pieces to it, and so I rate that to them. And the zombie crawls to the west, gets to the southwest corner, and pounds on the wall. And then the next melee round, the door bursts open, and out come 3 more zombies. They don't know they're zombies, but and then this white, they almost white, but they know it's different. And that's where we end the session, because at that point we're getting close to midnight. Guys have to go to work in the morning. And it's a good place to stop, right? Just before combat begins, and they can kind of think, well, how am I going to do this? I'm going to rearrange, and that kind of deal. So a really long description for, it's a 3-hour game, not too bad, but not a whole lot necessarily of action going on, but a lot of explanation for things going on and the things that I've been dealing with and doing, translating from one system to another, and then making things make sense. And then some of the cool stuff that I was able to design and to build out was a lot of fun. Happy gaming.